A lot of people say that in this climate you can't do organic viticulture. I know there's some organic vegetables being grown, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's going to be an evolution because unlike California where it's very arid and there's no very little disease pressure, here we have frequent rainfall and heavy dews. When I say disease pressure, powdery mildew, downy mildew are the main problems. But luckily it doesn't take much to keep them at bay, so we use some very mild sprays, some of which are actually approved for organic use. But we planted 50 vines this year of a no-spray variety, a red variety from the experiment station, which should never need to have any sprays on it, and grows very well.
What's the name of it?
It doesn't have a name yet.
Oh, wow.
I'm one of about half a dozen growers that got 50 of those vines, and in another 5 or 6 years we'll have some wines to taste from these vines. And the initial wine was very good, and we have to find out how cold hardy it is, etc., and how productive. So this is the early stages of proving out a possible new variety.
But my wife Caroline's from a 140-acre certified organic fruit and produce, vegetable, nuts, you name it, grains farm in Oregon. And so that's her background, and we started just by rehabbing my parents' garden from, they had an extensive garden and small orchard back in the 70s when they first moved up to the farm. So we kind of been rehabbing that, doing vegetable production for ourselves, and we just kind of doubled it every year for the last like 5 years, and we kind of have been growing more than we could possibly eat or give away, so we started selling it. It's something that we're both very passionate about, and we enjoy doing, eating foods that meat that we know where it was grown. Our chickens were treated well. They had very happy lives up until the last hours.
Is this influencing you as a grape grower and winemaker?
Always strive to use the gentlest approach to pest control. We're always modifying. We're always changing. I don't foresee us ever being certified organic in grape production. In New York, it's very, very challenging. But we do a lot of cultural controls, and we've really been working, to be as non-invasive with our control of the vineyard.
We were up here about 37 years ago, and a good vineyardist would clean cultivate both under his rows and between his rows. And through most of the summer there would be nothing growing in the rows. The only problem was every time you had a thunderstorm, thousands of tons of soil go washing down the hill.
Well, I'm looking at the ground here, and it's thick with a ground cover of grass. And
we realized that was a short-sighted way to stimulate the vines, and so we started putting in cover crops. And then later we realized as long as you kept a good weed control under the vines, kept the cover crops mowed fairly closely, they didn't compete at all effectively with the vines, and so we keep the soil. We have almost zero erosion now, and there's a lot more biology going on in the soil with all the plants in it. And if you're wondering what this white stuff is on there, that's an organic spray to try to slow down the Japanese beetles. And it did a nice job. We just put it on the outside row, and